What if I told you that one of the most revered kings in biblical history was also a master of the occult? That Solomon, the wise ruler of Israel, didn't just build a temple to God, but enslaved 22 demons to do it for him? This isn't some fringe conspiracy theory. It's a story preserved in ancient manuscripts, hidden away from mainstream religion. A story of rings, seals, and spirits, of divine authority and demonic obedience. This is the forbidden tale of King Solomon, the demon binder, the magician king. Solomon's name is synonymous with wisdom. In the Bible, he's the king who asked God not for power, riches, or revenge, but for understanding. This request so pleased the divine that Solomon was granted not only wisdom, but also wealth, peace, and dominion like no other king of Israel. He judged between mothers fighting over a child. He composed thousands of proverbs and songs. He built the first temple, uniting the tribes of Israel in worship. But what the Bible doesn't emphasize is what some ancient writings do, that Solomon's wisdom wasn't merely human. It was arcane, esoteric, and it allowed him to see and control beings most men never dared acknowledge, let alone command. The Testament of Solomon is an ancient pseudepigraphical text, meaning it's attributed to Solomon, though not officially accepted in the biblical canon. It claims to be written by Solomon himself, recounting his construction of the temple and the demonic forces involved. It begins with a young boy who works on the temple by day but weakens each night. His life force is being drained. Solomon prays, and the archangel Michael appears, giving him a magical ring engraved with the seal of God. This ring, sometimes described as bearing a pentagram or hexagram, gives Solomon dominion over demons. He can command them, interrogate them, even trap them. And so begins the strangest royal campaign in ancient history. A king walking among the shadows, binding spirits with divine authority, learning the names, ranks, and weaknesses of demons, and using their power for holy work. Solomon allegedly summoned and bound 72 demons, later known as the 72 spirits of the Goetia. Each demon had a name, a title, and unique powers. Asmodeus, the demon of lust, who admits to causing marital discord and adultery. Beelzebub, once a high-ranking angel, now a prince of darkness. Orneus, the vampire-like spirit who feeds on life force. Solomon interrogated each spirit, forced them to confess their deeds, and asked how they could be defeated. He didn't just bind them, he learned from them. It wasn't torture, it was psychological warfare, spiritual subjugation. He discovered their vulnerabilities, often angelic names or rituals, and forced them to labor in building the temple. Some demons moved stones, others carved statues. It was slave labor of the supernatural variety, and each demon, once defeated, was sealed in a vessel, a brass jar, a stone tablet, or inscribed on parchment buried beneath holy ground. The ring given to Solomon is central to this tale. It was no ordinary piece of jewelry. It was a divine technology, a symbol of dominion. The design is debated. Some say it was a pentagram, others the Star of David, but all agree it radiated divine authority. With it, Solomon could hurl it at demons, and it would brand them with God's name, forcing them to obey. This ring is said to have been passed down through generations, lost, rediscovered, and sought after by occultists, kings, and secret societies alike. Some claim the ring is hidden in the depths of the earth. Others believe it never existed, just a metaphor for divine will. But the idea that a man could control evil through a sacred symbol echoes across religions and ages. The Key of Solomon, Lemegeton, and Geassia, three of the most influential grimoires in magical history, are attributed to King Solomon. These texts contain rituals, seals, invocations, and instructions for summoning and commanding spirits. Whether or not Solomon wrote them is unknown, but his name grants them an aura of legitimacy. The Geassia especially lists the 72 demons Solomon allegedly bound. Each has a sigil, a description, and instructions for evocation. Magicians from the Middle Ages to modern day have used these texts to attempt contact with spirits, seeking wealth, love, power, or forbidden knowledge. But the legend warns, only one man controlled them all. Only Solomon could do it safely. Despite his divine favor and power, Solomon eventually fell. The Bible says he loved many foreign women who led him to worship other gods. But in mystical texts, the fall is more symbolic. Solomon's pride grew. He no longer obeyed God's law, but relied on his own will. Some stories say he gave his ring to a concubine who betrayed him. Others claim a demon tricked him, stole the ring, and cast him out of his kingdom. For years, Solomon wandered, powerless, forgotten, until, by divine mercy, he regained the ring and reclaimed his throne. This fall and rise arc is crucial. It shows that even the wisest of men can be tempted, that power, no matter how holy, must be wielded with humility. So, what does all of this mean? Was Solomon a magician, a prophet, or both? Was he controlling demons, or simply naming his inner shadows? Some scholars argue that the 72 demons are symbolic, representing psychological archetypes, passions, sins, or aspects of human nature. Solomon didn't fight monsters under the bed. He faced the monsters in himself. The ring wasn't just power, it was self-mastery. From this lens, the temple becomes a metaphor, a structure built not from stone, but from struggle. Demons not as enemies, but as raw materials, transformed through spiritual work. Solomon's legend has influenced Freemasonry, who see Solomon as the master builder, Hermeticism, Kabbalah, Islamic magic, where Solomon is known as Suleiman and still revered. Even modern pop culture, from video games to horror films, his story lives on because it touches something ancient, the desire to confront darkness, not by running, but by ruling. Solomon didn't destroy the demons. He learned their names. He made them serve. Whether Solomon truly bound demons with a magic ring or simply mastered his mind, one thing is clear. His story is a blueprint for power, not just over others, but over oneself. The temple wasn't built by angels. It was built by demons under command. And maybe that's the real secret, that the holiest things in life aren't built by purity alone, but by transforming what's darkest within us. This was the secret war Solomon fought. And maybe it's the same one we're all fighting every day. Subscribe